A shy little girl won't dance until a kind waitress shows her courage, and her billionaire father witnesses a moment that changes all their lives. The evening started like any other for Mr. Harrison, a man whose life was filled with board meetings, travel schedules, and endless phone calls. A billionaire. He had everything money could buy: luxury cars, a huge mansion, even a private jet. But there was one thing he could never buy back: time with his daughter. Lily was his little world, yet she often seemed distant, hidden behind a quiet smile and soft-spoken words. Tonight was different, though. Tonight was supposed to be special. They arrived at a beautiful ballroom in a luxury hotel, a place where chandeliers hung from the ceiling and the soft glow of candles reflected on polished floors. The music floated in the air, gentle at first, then growing livelier with each song. Families danced, laughter echoed, and the scent of flowers mixed with the aroma of fresh food. Mr. Harrison held Lily's small hand, feeling the warmth of her skin, noticing how she held herself close, almost as if she wanted to disappear into her father's protective shadow. Lily was shy, always had been. Even in her small school, she preferred reading books quietly rather than joining in games or singing in class. Tonight, her hesitancy was visible. She peered at the dance floor, eyes wide, heart beating fast, unsure if she could join the other children or adults dancing so freely. Her fingers gripped her father's hand tightly, and he noticed her nervous fidgeting, a slight tremble when the music shifted to a faster tune. Mr. Harrison knew the feeling. He remembered when he was a child, being shy at social events, unsure of how to fit in, feeling invisible among people who seemed so confident. But he also remembered how rare it was to have someone notice him, someone patient enough to help him step out of his shell. Watching Lily now, he wished he could step into her place, take her fear away. He wanted her to feel joy, not anxiety, to dance without hesitation. But all he could do was squeeze her hand gently, trying to give her courage without forcing it. Nearby, a waitress moved gracefully among the tables, carrying trays of food and drinks. She was observant, noticing details others often missed. When her eyes fell on Lily, she immediately saw a little girl sitting quietly, watching the lively room with both curiosity and fear. Unlike many children who ran straight to the fun, Lily seemed frozen, a small figure swallowed by the energy around her. The waitress's heart softened. She knew that sometimes all it took was one kind gesture to help a child feel safe. The waitress approached slowly, careful not to startle Lily. "Hi there," she said softly, kneeling down to be at the girl's eye level. Her voice was warm, gentle, without any hint of impatience or hurry. "Are you enjoying the music?" Lily shook her head slightly, hiding her small face in her hands for a moment. The waitress didn't push. Instead, she smiled, letting Lily know that it was okay to be shy, that there was no rush. She simply waited, giving Lily space, while remaining close enough to offer comfort. Mr. Harrison watched this quietly, hidden behind his reserved demeanor. He saw the waitress extend her hand slightly, just a small invitation, not a command, not a performance. It was the kind of gesture that only a few people could make look so natural, so genuine. Lily's eyes flickered toward the hand, curiosity mixing with hesitation. The music changed to a softer, slower song, and the atmosphere seemed to adjust as if the room itself was giving Lily a moment to breathe. For a long time, Lily just stared, unsure if she should respond. The nervous energy in her small body was visible: feet tapping slightly, fingers twisting together. Mr. Harrison felt his chest tighten. He wanted to say something to encourage her, but he also knew words could sometimes push a child further away rather than closer. So he stayed silent, letting the scene unfold naturally. Watching the little interaction with a mix of hope and awe, the waitress crouched a little lower, maintaining eye contact, letting Lily know that she was safe. "You don't have to dance if you don't want to," she said gently. "But if you'd like, I can dance with you. Just a little bit. No one else has to see." Lily peeked at her father, then back at the waitress. There was a tiny nod, almost imperceptible, but enough to signal the beginning of trust. The waitress smiled quietly, careful not to seem too excited, careful to keep the moment calm and comforting. Mr. Harrison felt something shift inside him. He saw Lily relax a little, her shoulders loosening, her fingers unclenching from his hand. The fear in her eyes was still there, but now it was mixed with a spark of curiosity, a small desire to try. He wanted to step forward, to hug her, to tell her it was okay, but he held back. This moment wasn't about him, it was about Lily. And he knew the importance of letting someone else guide her gently. The restaurant buzzed around them, but for that small corner of the room it seemed as though the world had slowed. The music played, the lights shimmered, but the focus was entirely on a little girl. A kind waitress, and a father who watched silently, overwhelmed with emotion. Lily's small hand reached toward the waitress, trembling slightly. The waitress took it carefully, her grip warm and reassuring, not too tight, just enough to communicate that everything would be okay. The first hug was tentative. Lily leaned slightly into the waitress, and the waitress responded with patience, holding her gently without any rush. Mr. Harrison's eyes glistened as he watched. In that small act, he saw courage, kindness, and empathy all combined. It wasn't just a hug. It was a bridge between fear and trust, between a little girl and the possibility of joy she had been too afraid to reach before. Lily looked up at the waitress, her eyes wide with surprise, as if realizing that someone could care so much without expecting anything in return. The waitress whispered something small, just a few words of encouragement, and Lily's lips curled into a tiny smile. The father's heart swelled. He had never seen her smile like that in a public place, never seen her let someone else take care of her so openly. The moment stretched longer than expected, filled with quiet significance. The father realized that wealth, luxury, and status didn't matter here. All that mattered was human connection, the soft power of empathy, and the gentle courage to reach out to someone who needed it. The waitress's simple act had opened a door for his daughter, and he felt both grateful and humbled. As the song ended, Lily didn't want to pull away. She stayed close to the waitress, her fear melting slowly into trust. Mr. Harrison smiled softly, realizing that sometimes the best gift one could give a child wasn't money, toys, or lessons. It was a chance to feel safe, valued, and understood. For the first time that evening, he saw Lily's eyes light up with excitement, a small spark that promised more courage to come. The night was just beginning, and the ballroom was still alive with laughter and music. But for Mr. Harrison and Lily, this quiet corner had become the heart of the evening. One simple, gentle gesture had set the stage for something extraordinary, and he knew deep in his heart that this moment would stay with both of them forever. The waitress noticed Lily sitting quietly, watching the other children dance. She could see the nervousness in the little girl's eyes. Lily's small hands were folded tightly on her lap, and she kept glancing at her father, almost as if asking for permission to join, but also afraid of stepping out of her comfort zone. The waitress bent slightly, lowering herself to Lily's level, and smiled warmly. "Would you like to try a little dance?" she asked softly. There was no pressure in her voice, only gentle encouragement. Lily hesitated, shaking her head, but the waitress didn't move away. She stayed close, her presence calm and reassuring, letting Lily know that it was okay to be scared. The father, standing a few steps away, watched silently. He could feel his heart tightening in a way he had not felt for a long time. Seeing his daughter struggle with her own fear brought back memories of his own childhood shyness, moments where he had wanted to join in but felt frozen. He knew that forcing her would not help. She needed someone patient and kind, someone who could guide her gently without making her feel pressured. The waitress seemed to understand this instinctively. She reached out her hand slowly, but instead of saying, "Come with me," she just held it out and waited. It was a small gesture, but it spoke volumes. It said, "I am here. I will not let anything happen to you, and I will help you if you let me." Lily's eyes flickered toward the hand, curiosity mingling with fear. She looked at her father, who nodded slightly, silently giving her the choice. Slowly, she extended her tiny hand, her fingers brushing against the waitress's. The waitress squeezed it gently, a silent message that reassured Lily. Then, without rushing, the waitress started moving her own body lightly to the rhythm of the music, encouraging Lily to follow at her own pace. She didn't grab her or pull her onto the dance floor. Instead, She mirrored the movements, showing Lily that it could be simple and fun. Lily's first movements were hesitant, a small step to the side, a tiny sway. Her face was serious at first, but she could not hide the small spark of joy that appeared in her eyes. The father watched, holding his breath, amazed at the transformation happening before him. The waitress talked quietly as they moved, telling little stories about the music, asking Lily about her favorite songs, and making gentle jokes that made her laugh softly. Lily's laughter was quiet at first, a barely audible giggle, but it grew steadily as the minutes passed. She began to loosen up, her movements becoming a little bolder, a little freer. The father's chest swelled with emotion. This small, kind-hearted woman was doing something that he had struggled to do with all his money and influence. She was reaching his daughters, hard in a way that felt natural, warm and magical. Other children on the dance floor noticed Lily now. Some tried to invite her to join, but she shook her head slightly, still unsure. The waitress stayed close, never pushing, never letting Lily feel embarrassed. She whispered encouragements, her voice like a soft melody that seemed to match the music in the room. "You are doing so well," she said. "See, dancing isn't scary at all. You can just move however you like." Lily's small smile widened, and she took a little more confident step, letting herself sway with the rhythm. The father's mind wandered for a moment. He realized that it wasn't wealth or status that could create these moments. It was human connection, simple acts of kindness and patience. This waitress, someone he had just met, had already made a lasting impact on his daughter. He felt a deep sense of gratitude, mixed with awe at her ability to reach Lily in a way that felt effortless and genuine. After a few minutes, the waitress suggested they try a little dance closer to the other children if Lily felt ready. Lily nodded timidly, and together they moved toward the edge of the dance floor. The father noticed how other adults watched them, some smiling, some quietly observing. Lily's confidence was growing, but she still stayed close to the waitress, who held her hand lightly and encouraged her with gentle words. The father stayed back, not interfering, letting Lily take the lead with the waitress by her side. Suddenly, the music changed to a livelier tune, faster and more exciting. Lily's eyes widened, and she froze for a moment, unsure if she could keep moving. The waitress noticed immediately and slowed her own movements, showing Lily that it was okay to go at her own pace. "You can just sway if you like," she said softly, "or just tap your feet. There's no rush." Lily nodded, taking a deep breath, and started moving again, one small step at a time. Her confidence grew with each movement, and soon she was smiling brightly, laughing quietly at the fun of it all. The father watched, unable to hold back his own smile. He felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes, overwhelmed by the beauty of the moment. Here was his daughter, laughing and dancing for the first time that evening, her fear melting away in the warmth of someone else's kindness. He realized that these small, simple gestures, patience, gentle guidance, and genuine care could create memories far more precious than anything money could buy. The waitress continued to dance with Lily. Adjusting her movements to match the girls, she made it playful, encouraging Lily to try small spins and steps, applauding each attempt. Lily began to imitate her movements with more confidence, even giggling at some of the playful actions. The father's admiration for the waitress grew. He had expected an ordinary encounter with a server, but what he saw was extraordinary. Someone with empathy, patience, and understanding, able to reach a child's heart in a way he had rarely witnessed. As the song came to an end, Lily hugged the waitress lightly, a gesture of gratitude and trust. The father felt his chest tighten at the sight. This was more than a hug, it was a bond forming, a moment that would be remembered forever. The waitress smiled, letting the hug linger just long enough for Lily to feel safe and appreciated. The father stepped closer, gently resting a hand on his daughter's shoulder, silently expressing his own gratitude. Lily's eyes shone with happiness, a light that had been missing for so long. The rest of the evening seemed to move in slow motion for them. The ballroom was filled with music, laughter, and activity, but for Lily, the father, his time had created a quiet bubble of joy. Lily's nervousness had faded, replaced by curiosity and excitement. She twirled lightly, tried new steps, and even invited the waitress to dance along with her more freely. The father watched, filled with pride and relief. Grateful for the presence of someone who could connect with his daughter so naturally, the waitress continued to guide Lily gently, never rushing, never forcing, simply encouraging and celebrating each small victory. The father realized that this evening was not just about dancing, it was about courage, trust, and connection. He knew that this small act of kindness would leave a lasting impact on Lily, teaching her that even when fear tries to hold her back, there are people who will help her find the courage to move forward. By the time the next song began, Lily was moving more freely on her own, her confidence growing with each step. The father could hardly believe the transformation he was witnessing. A girl who had entered the evening hesitant and shy was now laughing, dancing, and enjoying the moment fully. And it was all because of one kind, observant, and patient waitress who had noticed a little girl and offered her support without hesitation. As the music continued, the father felt a deep sense of gratitude. He knew he could never repay the waitress for what she had done, but he silently promised himself to honor her kindness by being more present, more patient, and more understanding with his daughter. He realized that money could buy comfort and luxury, but it could never replace the value of genuine human connection, the power of empathy, and the impact of a small, kind gesture at the right moment. By the end of the song, Lily was smiling brightly, her eyes sparkling with joy. The father stepped closer, proud of her courage, while the waitress stepped back, giving Lily space to enjoy her newfound confidence. In that moment, the father understood something he had long forgotten. Sometimes, it's not the grand gestures or expensive gifts that matter, but the small, meaningful acts of kindness that touch the heart and change a life forever. The music changed again, slower this time, soft and gentle, almost like it was made just for Lily. She continued moving with the waitress, following each step carefully, but now there was a difference. Instead of hesitating, she began to smile more openly, letting herself enjoy the rhythm without fear. The waitress noticed and whispered, "See, you're doing amazing. Dancing can be fun when you just go at your own pace." Lily's small laugh was pure, and it echoed in the soft glow of the ballroom lights. Mr. Harrison felt a warmth he hadn't felt in years. Watching his daughter laugh freely, seeing her eyes sparkle with joy, it struck him deeply. All the money, all the luxury in the world could never create this moment. This was real, raw, and magical. He remembered the times when he had been a child, feeling nervous in social settings, wanting to fit in but afraid of being embarrassed. He had never had someone gently guide him the way the waitress was guiding Lily now as they danced. The father's thoughts wandered. He reflected on his own busy life, countless meetings, endless business calls, and the constant pressure of wealth and status. He realized that in all of this, he often forgot what mattered most: connection, compassion, and being present for those you love. Seeing his daughter let someone else lead her, someone he barely knew, made him understand that sometimes love meant stepping back and letting others show care in their own way. The waitress guided Lily through small spins and steps, never rushing, never showing impatience. Each time Lily tried a new movement, she looked up at the waitress for reassurance. The waitress always met her gaze with a gentle nod or a soft smile, as a small encouragement that said, "You can do this." Slowly, Lily's movements became more confident. She began to match the rhythm naturally, feeling the music in her body rather than worrying about whether she was doing it right. The father was struck by the transformation. Lily, who had been frozen in fear only moments ago, was now laughing, moving, and enjoying herself. He realized that this was the power of empathy and patience. The waitress's ability to connect with Lily on such a personal level was extraordinary. She didn't see a rich man's daughter or someone who needed impressing. She saw a little girl who needed support, encouragement, and kindness. And she gave it freely. Lily's laughter grew louder as she attempted a small twirl. The waitress gently guided her hand, steadying her so she wouldn't fall, and Lily's smile widened. The father's heart swelled. He felt a mix of pride and gratitude, knowing that moments like this were rare, precious, and fleeting. He wanted to capture this memory in his mind forever, the sparkle in his daughter's eyes, the tender care of the waitress, and the music that wrapped them in a bubble of warmth and joy around them. The ballroom continued its lively rhythm, people dancing, talking, and enjoying the night. But for Lily, her father, and the waitress, the world seemed to shrink to this small, perfect corner. The father noticed the subtle gestures, the way the waitress adjusted her pace to match Lily's, the way she whispered small words of encouragement, the gentle squeeze of her hand when Lily hesitated. These details were powerful, more impactful than any gift or lesson he could give. Lily began to attempt slightly larger movements, stepping out from the edge of the dance floor. The waitress stayed close, holding her hand lightly and guiding her through each motion. "You're doing so well," she said softly. "You can even try a little spin if you want. I'll be right here." Lily hesitated for a moment, took a deep breath, and then spun, laughing as she did. Her father's eyes filled with tears of happiness. It was a small victory, but to him, it was monumental. His daughter was conquering her fear one step at a time, the gentle support of someone who genuinely cared. As the song played on, the father noticed the way Lily's posture changed. She stood taller, moved with more confidence, and even started to mirror some of the waitress's playful gestures. It was as if a new layer of courage had been unlocked within her. He realized that this night was more than just a dance, it was a lesson in trust, resilience, and the power of human kindness. The waitress had created a space where Lily could be herself, free from judgment or pressure, and that gift was priceless. The father reflected on his own role. He had often thought that being a parent meant teaching, guiding, and providing. But now he understood another truth. Sometimes being a parent meant stepping back, observing, and letting someone else show his child the joy of connection. Watching his daughter trust the waitress, let go of her fear, and embrace the moment was humbling and enlightening. The waitress noticed the father watching and gave him a small, understanding smile as if to say, "She's safe, and she's thriving." He nodded subtly, feeling a deep appreciation for this woman who had stepped into their lives for just a short while but had made an enormous impact. Lily's trust in her was growing, and he felt relieved that his daughter was experiencing kindness in such a pure form. The song changed again, and this time the music encouraged more movement. Lily attempted larger steps, moving in small circles, laughing at her own wobble. The waitress clapped softly, celebrating each attempt, never making Lily feel embarrassed for mistakes or hesitation. "See, you're dancing beautifully," she said. Lily's confidence grew with each word, each gentle gesture, each laugh shared between them. The father watched, amazed at how a simple act of kindness could transform a child's experience so completely. He thought about the lessons he wanted to teach Lily, and he realized that what mattered most wasn't wealth, prestige, or material success. It was empathy, courage, and the ability to trust others. The waitress had shown him these lessons in action, and he felt deeply grateful for her presence. Lily's small hands began to move more freely, no longer clinging to the waitress but reaching out and trying new steps independently. The waitress stayed close, ready to guide if needed, but now her role was less about leading and more about support. Lily's laughter filled the space around them, blending with the music and creating a moment of pure joy. The father felt tears of pride and relief welling up in his eyes. His daughter was discovering herself in a new way, and he had never been more proud. As the song neared its end, Lily twirled one last time and collapsed gently into the waitress's arms, giggling uncontrollably. The father stepped closer, placing a hand on his daughter's shoulder and smiling. The connection between the three of them was undeniable. Trust, kindness, and joy woven together in a single, unforgettable moment. The father realized that these were the memories that mattered, the ones that would stay with Lily forever. After the dance ended, the waitress crouched down to Lily's level again. "You did so well," she said softly. "I'm so proud of you." Lily hugged her tightly, and for the first time, the father saw a complete look of confidence and happiness on his daughter's face. She had faced her fear, embraced the music, and discovered the joy of movement, all with the gentle guidance of someone who cared. The father reflected on the evening and the lessons it held. He understood that real courage wasn't about facing the world alone. It was about trusting, connecting, and letting others help you when needed. He realized that this experience shared between his daughter and a kind stranger had strengthened the bond between them, teaching both of them something profound about trust, patience, and human kindness. The ballroom continued its lively rhythm. But for Lily, her father, and the waitress, this corner had become a world of its own, a place where fear melted. Confidence grew, and joy was discovered in the simplest gestures. The father watched, deeply moved, knowing that this night would be remembered not for the luxury or grandeur, but for the love, connection, and courage that had been shared in quiet. Magical moments by the end of the evening. Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement and pride. She had danced, laughed, and trusted someone new, feeling safe and happy in a way she hadn't before. The father stepped closer, his heart full, silently thanking the waitress for the gift she had given his daughter, a gift far more valuable than anything money could buy. And as they prepared to leave, he realized that this night had changed them all, leaving a mark of joy, courage, and human connection that would never be forgotten. The night continued, filled with music, laughter, and the gentle hum of conversation. But for Lily, her father, and the waitress, the evening had taken on a different rhythm. Lily was no longer just a shy little girl. She was beginning to explore, moving with confidence on the dance floor, laughing softly, and feeling safe in the presence of someone who cared. Her father watched her, heart swelling with pride, yet he remained quietly observant, sensing that the evening had more surprises in store. Suddenly, something unexpected happened. A waiter carrying a tray of drinks slipped near the dance floor. The glasses wobbled, and a few fell, shattering with a loud crash. Gasps spread across the ballroom, and a few children squealed in surprise. Lily froze in the middle of the floor, unsure of what to do. Her tiny hands clutched the waitress's arm, seeking the reassurance that she had been giving so freely moments before. The waitress reacted immediately, but calmly. She knelt down to Lily's level, speaking softly to her. "It's okay," she said. "Everything is fine. Stay with me." Lily's trembling began to ease slightly as the warmth and steadiness of the waitress's presence reassured her. Meanwhile, the father moved closer, his instincts ready to protect his daughter. But he noticed that the waitress had the situation completely under control. Her movements were precise and composed, guiding Lily to step back from the scattered glass and toward a safer area of the floor. The father was struck by her calmness. In the chaos of the moment when most adults might have panicked, the waitress had maintained composure, protecting Lily and calming the situation. He realized that there was a strength in her kindness, her resilience he hadn't expected. She wasn't just gentle and empathetic. She was strong and capable, able to manage both fear and danger with quiet authority. Lily, sensing this strength, relaxed completely into her guidance, feeling safe despite the sudden incident. Once they were at a safe distance, the waitress smiled reassuringly at Lily. "See? Everything is okay. You were very brave just now." Lily looked up at her, eyes wide with admiration, and hugged her again, this time with more confidence and warmth than ever. The father's heart tightened at the sight, a mixture of relief and awe filling him. In this single moment, he realized that the waitress had not only nurtured his daughter's confidence but also demonstrated courage and quick thinking. In a moment of potential panic, the ballroom began to return to its usual rhythm, music softly continuing, and the other guests slowly resuming their dances. Yet for Lily, her father, and the waitress, the incident had created a shared experience, bonds strengthened by trust and care under pressure. Lily began to dance again, this time a little bolder, encouraged by the knowledge that someone was always there to support her. The father watched closely, feeling a deep respect for the waitress, recognizing her not just as a server or helper, but as someone who had earned the admiration of both him and his daughter through her actions. As the night progressed, the music shifted again, and the energy of the ballroom became livelier. Children were running, adults were dancing, and laughter filled the air. Lily attempted new dance moves, inspired by her newfound confidence. The waitress stayed near, occasionally offering guidance, but allowing Lily to explore on her own. Her role had subtly shifted from leading to supporting, showing Lily that courage could be paired with independence. The father noticed this and felt a mixture of pride and gratitude. Realizing how important these small interactions could be in shaping his daughter's sense of self, just as Lily was beginning to fully enjoy herself, another unexpected event occurred. A young child tripped on the edge of the dance floor, crying out in surprise. Some adults rushed to help, but Lily instinctively clung to the waitress, showing that the bond they had formed was now strong and reliable. The waitress moved immediately, helping the child up with a gentle smile and calm words. While simultaneously reassuring Lily, the father was amazed at how seamlessly she handled the situation, balancing care for multiple children while maintaining a composed and kind demeanor. In this moment, the father realized something profound. The waitress's strength was not just physical or practical, it was emotional. She could calm fears, inspire confidence, and provide comfort in a way that left a lasting impact. Her ability to connect with Lily and other children in the midst of chaos demonstrated an extraordinary level of empathy and intelligence. The father felt a wave of gratitude and admiration, silently acknowledging the importance of having such a positive role model for his daughter, Lily. Seeing the waitress manage the situation so gracefully felt reassured and safe. She began to move a little closer to the other children, exploring new steps with more confidence than before. The father noticed that Lily's trust in the waitress had grown exponentially. She laughed freely, twirling lightly, and even attempted to dance with other children, occasionally looking back at the waitress for silent approval. This simple exchange, the glance of reassurance, was enough to keep her grounded and confident. The father stepped back and watched. Reflecting on the evening and the lessons it had brought, he had expected a normal night out, perhaps a quiet dance or a family dinner. Instead, he witnessed his daughter conquer fear, discover joy, and form a meaningful bond with someone who entered their lives unexpectedly. It was a humbling experience, reminding him that courage and kindness often appear in ordinary moments, and that these moments could leave lasting impacts far beyond the night itself. As the evening wore on, Lily continued to dance and explore. The waitress remained nearby, offering encouragement and celebrating each small success. When Lily stumbled or hesitated, the waitress was there with a reassuring touch and kind words. Each interaction strengthened Lily's confidence and independence, teaching her that fear could be met with courage and uncertainty could be met with trust. The father watched, silently learning from this display. Recognizing that his daughter was gaining lessons in life that no school or money could provide at one point, the waitress suggested they move to a slightly quieter corner of the ballroom to rest for a moment. Lily agreed, and they walked together hand in hand, laughing softly at a small joke the waitress had made. The father followed, noticing how natural and seamless their interaction had become. Lily looked up at the waitress with admiration and trust, a bond now firmly established. The father felt a mix of pride and humility. He had always wanted the best for his daughter, but he realized that the best sometimes came in the form of ordinary people with extraordinary hearts. Once they reached the quieter corner, the waitress knelt to Lily's level again. "You were amazing tonight," she said softly. "I'm proud of you." Lily's small face lit up with a confident smile. She hugged the waitress tightly, her arms wrapped firmly around someone who had become both a guide and a friend. The father stood nearby, unable to speak, feeling the depth of the connection unfolding before him. He realized that the night had become more than just a dance, it was a moment of transformation, courage, and trust. The father's thoughts drifted to the future. He imagined Lily facing challenges ahead in life, moments of fear, hesitation, or uncertainty. And he knew that the lessons she had learned tonight, the courage inspired by the gentle guidance of a stranger, would stay with her. She had learned that fear could be met with patience, that kindness could create safety, and that trust in others could open doors to joy. He felt deeply grateful to the waitress, recognizing that her presence had changed the evening and perhaps shaped a part of his daughter's life forever. As the night drew closer to its end, Lily's energy remained high. She danced lightly, smiled brightly, and occasionally glanced back at the waitress with gratitude. The father noticed the subtle confidence in her movements, the way she held herself a little taller and the joy that radiated from her eyes. He felt a quiet pride, knowing that moments like these, small yet profound, were shaping his daughter into a brave, joyful, and confident young girl. The ballroom continued to hum with activity, but for the father, daughter, and waitress, the focus had shifted. It was no longer about music or celebration. It was about connection, courage, and the quiet power of kindness in action. Each small gesture, each word of encouragement, meant each moment of trust had created a tapestry of memory that would stay with them forever. The father realized that life's most meaningful lessons often came from unexpected places, from people who entered your world for just a moment but left a lasting mark by the end of the evening. Lily hugged the waitress once more, this time with a strong, confident embrace that spoke volumes. The father stepped closer, gently resting a hand on his daughter's shoulder, silently thanking the waitress for the courage, joy, and trust she had inspired. The night had begun as a simple outing, but had transformed into something extraordinary, a shared experience of bravery, kindness, and human connection that none of them would ever forget. The night was winding down, but the energy of the evening had left a lasting impression on everyone, especially on Mr. Harrison and his daughter. Lily's eyes were still sparkling from the excitement, her small hands holding tightly onto her father's. The ballroom had quieted slightly as guests began to gather their things. But for this small family, the evening was far from over. What had begun as a simple night out had grown into a journey of courage, trust, and connection. Mr. Harrison looked at the waitress, who had stayed close to Lily throughout the evening, guiding her, supporting her, and helping her discover confidence she had never felt before. He felt a wave of gratitude he could hardly express in words. Here was someone who had entered their lives for a short time, but had made an extraordinary impact. She had taught his daughter courage, patience, and the power of human kindness in ways he could not have done himself. He realized that wealth and status could buy many things, but nothing could replace the value of empathy, care, genuine connection. He stepped forward and spoke softly to the waitress. "Thank you. I don't even know how to begin to thank you. What you did for Lily tonight, it was extraordinary." The waitress smiled, a little embarrassed by the praise, but her eyes reflected warmth and kindness. "She's a brave little girl," she said gently. "I just helped her see it." The courage was always inside her. Lily hugged the waitress again, this time more confidently than before. Her small arms wrapped firmly around her as if to say, "Thank you for showing her that fear could be met with patience, that she could trust, and that she could enjoy herself." The father watched this, overwhelmed with emotion. He realized that these small moments, filled with trust and connection, could change lives in ways that nothing else could. Mr. Harrison felt inspired. He wanted to do more than just thank the waitress. He wanted to ensure that her kindness and skill were recognized and rewarded. He invited her to sit with him at a small table, away from the crowd. "I don't know your full story," he began, "but tonight you've shown me what real courage and compassion look like. I want to offer you an opportunity, something that could change your life, just as you changed my daughter's tonight." The waitress looked surprised, unsure of what to expect. She had never imagined that a simple act of kindness would lead to such recognition. Her eyes met his, searching for sincerity, and she found it there, clear and genuine. She nodded slowly, curious but cautious, wanting to understand what he meant. "I own a foundation," he explained. "We focus on education, mentorship, and opportunities for people with talent and heart. I would like to invite you to join a program that can help you grow your skills and achieve goals you might not have imagined possible. Tonight, you prove that you have more than just talent. You have empathy, patience, and courage. Those are rare qualities, and I want to support you in any way I can." The waitress's eyes widened. She had always worked hard, taken care of her family, and helped others whenever she could, but she had never expected recognition on this scale. I don't know what to say," she whispered. I wanted to help Lily feel safe and happy. That's exactly why I want to help you, Mr. Harrison said softly. People like you, who act from the heart without expecting anything in return, are the ones who make the world better. I want to make sure you have a chance to grow, to explore your potential, and to make a bigger difference. Lily, sensing the importance of the moment, held her father's hand tightly and looked up at the waitress with a bright smile. You helped me dance, she said simply, her voice full of warmth and gratitude. You made me brave. The waitress knelt to Lily's level, holding her small hands. And you made me happy too, she said softly. Seeing you smile made everything worth it. The father felt a sense of fulfillment he had never experienced before. He realized that the greatest gift he could give his daughter was not wealth or material things. It was the experience of witnessing and being part of genuine human kindness. He also recognized that by helping the waitress, he was honoring the very qualities he wanted to instill in his daughter: courage, empathy, and the power of connection. The waitress accepted his offer, still in quiet disbelief, but her eyes sparkled with hope and excitement. She knew that her life might be about to change in ways she had never dreamed of, all because of one night, one little girl, and one act of courage and kindness. The father felt proud, not just of his daughter, but of the young woman who had touched their lives so profoundly. As the evening drew to a close, Lily hugged her father tightly. Daddy, she said softly, I'm so happy tonight. I wasn't scared anymore because she helped me. Mr. Harrison kissed the top of her head, his heart full. I'm proud of you, sweetheart, he said, and I'm thankful for someone who showed you that it's okay to be brave. The waitress smiled at the little girl and waved gently. Always remember, she said, you can do anything you want if you believe in yourself. Lily nodded enthusiastically, confidence and joy radiating brightly. The father realized that this night had given his daughter not just fun, but an unforgettable lesson about courage, trust, and the goodness of people before leaving. Mr. Harrison made sure the waitress knew that her efforts and her heart had been noticed and appreciated. He gave her a small token of support from his foundation, symbolizing his belief in her abilities and character. It wasn't just about money or status. It was about opportunity, recognition, and the chance to grow in a way that aligned with the values she had already demonstrated. Walking out of the ballroom, father and daughter held hands, their bond strengthened by the night's events. Lily was glowing with happiness, talking animatedly about dancing, about the music, and about how brave she felt. The father listened, smiling quietly, knowing that the night had left an imprint not just on his daughter, but on himself as well. He felt inspired to be more present, more patient, and more observant of the small but powerful moments in life. The waitress stayed behind for a moment, waving goodbye, her heart full of gratitude and hope. She knew her life might change because of this night, but she also knew something deeper had occurred. She had made a difference in a little girl's life, and that was priceless. Mr. Harrison watched her go, filled with admiration and a newfound respect for people who act with integrity, compassion, and courage. In the car on the way home, Lily chattered happily, recounting every detail of the night. From the first step onto the dance floor to the playful spins she had attempted with the waitress. Her father listened quietly, soaking in every word. He realized that these small, seemingly ordinary moments were the ones that created lifelong memories, shaping his daughter's understanding of trust, kindness, and bravery. When they arrived home, Lily ran to her room, still laughing and full of energy. Mr. Harrison stood in the doorway for a moment. Reflecting on the evening, the night had begun as a simple father-daughter outing, but had transformed into something extraordinary, a night of courage, trust, and human connection that would remain with them forever. He felt a deep sense of gratitude for the waitress, for his daughter, and for the lesson that kindness and bravery can change lives in unexpected ways. Later, as he sat quietly in his study, the father thought about how he could continue to nurture these values in his daughter. He knew that life would present many challenges, moments of fear, hesitation, and uncertainty. But the lessons of tonight, the power of gentle guidance, empathy, and encouragement would stay with Lily. And he also realized that by helping the waitress, he was passing on these lessons to her as well, supporting someone who had already demonstrated extraordinary character. The father understood that true wealth was not measured by money or possessions, but by the impact one had on others. That night, he had witnessed the transformative power of kindness and courage, and he knew that this experience would shape his family for years to come. Lily had learned to trust, to be brave, and to embrace joy, while the waitress had been recognized and given an opportunity to grow, and he had learned that sometimes the most valuable moments are those small, quiet interactions that reveal the best in people. As the house settled into quiet, Mr. Harrison smiled, thinking of his daughter's laughter, the warmth of the waitress's guidance, and the profound lesson the evening had provided. He knew that this night would remain etched in their hearts, a story of courage, trust, and human connection that proved the extraordinary power of simple acts of kindness.